Superman doesn't just have $125 million worth of profit coming to it. It's also the #1 selling video-on-demand movie of the year so far. Let's see what John Campea has to say about this.
We were just talking about Superman 2025 and its
Yep,
improbable yet inevitable march to success. I mean, again, huge critic ratings, massive audience ratings. The audiences loved it. It crossed the $615 million. We talked the other day about how Variety reported it's made already $125 million in profit.
I haven't looked into that much at all, guys. I've been having some crazy stuff going on. My dad's in the hospital and stuff, so y'all been asking me why I haven't done a video on it. I'll look into it and see exactly what kind of validity that has, but it sounds pretty legit so far.
Which is not something I thought it could do, which I'm super glad that it did.
Sure,
but
yeah.
If you guys remember, leading up to Superman, I said the big thing it's got to do is win everybody over, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if a ton of people see it, not a ton of people see it. You need to win everybody over, so the franchise can get off to a good start and grow and be big and popular. The first test of that, of how big of an impact did this movie make on the audience, and word of mouth that started to go around about it. The first test, not the biggest one, but the first test is,
okay, gotcha.
Well, they put it out for purchase and rent. They put it out on PVOD,
I guess that's true.
Paid video on demand. And what did it do? Well, it set some records.
Did y'all watch that video I reacted to where it was talking about how it was bombing on video on demand, and it had proof. I couldn't find any proof in there. It may be bombing, but there wasn't any proof in that video.
As it is being reported that it, #1, is the highest selling PVOD of the entire year.
Okay.
And outpaced.
That's not surprising because, it's a big blockbuster. I mean, when a big blockbuster happens for the year, that's a big deal, but it's also a bigger deal if it beats previous year blockbusters,
Movies like Deadpool and Wolverine, which made $1.3 billion in the box office before it went to PVOD. Samba TV, of course, they're the organization that does a lot of the streaming.
I wonder, okay, that's really interesting. I wonder if a lot of people that slept on this movie because they just didn't really know are now going ahead and getting it on video on demand, renting, buying, whatever, and they're like, hey, it's pretty decent,
Streaming data and everything. This is what we got. According to Samba TV's data, in the U.S. alone, 527,000 households watched, not people, households, watched the digital edition of Superman in its first 3 days.
Okay, I was like, that number's not that big. There's like 340 million people in the U.S. But households in the first 3 days, yeah, that's different. That's a big number.
Now remember, this is not free streaming on HBO Max. This is paid video on demand.
Oh, that's a good point, too. That many people paid to watch it. Yeah, that's true.
Beating even last year's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow.
And this year's a Minecraft movie.
I'm still hearing about Deadpool and Wolverine. Still hearing about it.
Also is in the $1 billion club, which took 6 days to reach 597K and 471K households, respectively.
And why do you think that is? I think it's because it's just a reboot. I think that's what it is. It's a reboot. There wasn't any big name characters in the casting. It was a complete restart of a franchise. Nobody is invested in it at this point because they weren't that invested in the DCEU to begin with. So it's like, well, what is DC doing now? I'm kind of fatigued on, Marvel superhero movies. They're kind of going down. I've heard a lot of people on reaction videos I've watched say that they are done with Marvel after seeing Superman. They're like, we got something new and fresh to watch. So I kind of feel like the reason that this is doing so well, video on demand, and it did great in the theaters, but it didn't do like, $1 billion or anything, is because people were kind of not really into it at the moment. And now they're realizing there's something there to be into. I think that's kind of what's happening.
Superman has the biggest PVOD 3-day performance for any 2025 release measured by Samba so far, proportionally better than 2025's previous record holder, the final Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which took 6 days to reach 618,000 households.
Those are hard movies to beat because Tom Cruise, whether you like him or hate him, that dude does his own stunts, and that is pretty cool. He does some crazy stunts too.
And also
stuff that if you didn't do real, like, real acting, real stunting, I don't know. If you didn't actually do it, it looks kind of cheesy. You know what I mean?
better in 3 days than some of Warner Brothers' mega hits took 6 days to achieve, such as Sinners, 441,000 households, and Barbie, which of course was the biggest film of its year.
Now, that could be partly this record and stuff in the 3 days could partly be because the people that watched the movie loved it. That could be partly what's going on here. The people that watched the movie really enjoyed it. A majority of people that watched the movie liked the movie. Whereas, like, with Man of Steel, a large portion of the people that went and watched the movie did not like the movie. That's why, it only had like a 60% back then. It's been manipulated since now, but a 60% audience happy score. My brain, sorry.
So in the $1 billion club, 363,000 households.
Yeah, I think that's a really impressive number. I like that he's saying it's broken records already, but I am curious if it is going to continue to break records throughout the end of the year. I also want to see DVD, Blu-ray, 4K sales. I want to see that for sure.
All right.
Do people still get DVDs, right? Yeah.
On the surface, the story that a lot of people are going to see, understandably so, is biggest seller of the year.
Okay.
More sales than Deadpool and Wolverine, a wildly popular $1.3 billion film.
Yes.
And that is a story. Absolutely, 100%. To me, somebody like me who likes to look at context and all that kind of stuff.
I'm really curious about what he's going to say here, because even though people call him a shill, I consider him pretty based, because Man of Steel, he still talks about how that's his favorite Superman movie. Okay, so if he's a shill, he's not a very good one, because he's promoting Man of Steel as being better than this movie. But he's still talking about the information. So, okay, let's see.
To me, the story is, this was the test. What real impact did this movie make on people who saw it? Did word of mouth get out there? Did people who didn't go out to see it in theaters go, I better go watch, I better see that movie?
I want to know if you think he's right, because I think he's right. I think this was the test. And it's not like somebody sat around going, we're going to give Superman a test here. It's just, it's a test. It's an actual test that's happening in real time, whether you like it or not. It's to figure out whether or not Superman is going to do. And it's passing the tests. Now, I didn't like everything about Superman. I didn't like everything about Man of Steel. But if Man of Steel had gone on to do a proper Man of Steel 2 instead of Batman vs. Superman and corrected the issues that we had in Man of Steel, which could have been done naturally, like, him realizing that he didn't want to ever kill because he ended his whole race to save the humans, or him realizing that he wanted to save life in general, just going out there saving people, things like that. That would have really helped to fix it, but instead they dived further into the stuff that made him not Superman in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, and made him evil, and, gave us montages of what it'll look like in the future whenever he's bad. And this movie has some flaws, but if in Man of Tomorrow they dive further into those flaws, that's going to be a deviation and a problem. But if they can continue to show us what they already showed us really, really hard in, like, the kaiju scene and stuff, that he just loves to save lives, that's going to be good, even if Man of Tomorrow is focused more on the evil of Lex, because it'll show us that Superman is the true Man of Tomorrow.
Stuff like that. And the very fact that a movie that did half the box office of Deadpool and Wolverine actually ended up generating more PVOD than Deadpool and Wolverine did when it released.
That tells me the same thing I've been saying over and over and over, which is that the movie, whether or not it does good at the box office, it did well critically speaking. It's a critical success, meaning people come home, they tell their friends go, yeah, I don't know if I was going to like that movie or not. And their friends go, it's great. I bought it. You want to watch it? You know what I mean? That's what happens. That's why the sequels of movies usually do better, is because the audience was built behind the scenes. Before this movie came out, no audience was built behind the scenes. The audience was built day one in the theater. That's when the audience was built. The second movie that comes out, the audience will have been built in the theater, through rentals, through buying, through DVD, through Blu-rays, through people hosting their own little, theater parties at their house, all that kind of stuff. And then when the second movie comes out, you're going to have a lot more audience already. And I predict the second movie will definitely do better than the first one, as long as they don't screw it up.
Now, Rob, we got asked a question the other day about, do I think Man of Tomorrow, the next film in the Superman saga.
Okay.
Whether I
Isn't Supergirl part of the Superman saga? Have we not determined that yet? I thought Supergirl was part of the Superman saga. Maybe it's not.
That is going to be a $1 billion film. And I said that's an overreaction.
Yeah, I think so.
I might have been wrong.
You think so?
I might have been wrong.
I feel like it could get close to $1 billion. See, Guardians of the Galaxy did good with new characters because it had big names, a lot of big names, and it was in the Marvel universe that was already established. This DC universe has nothing. No establishment. There is no... the only establishment you could argue is maybe Peacemaker. Maybe. But even then, we were talking about another universe before. So, I really think that this next movie is going to do better. I don't know if it's going to be $1 billion or if it's... He's changing his mind. He thinks $1 billion could be. We'll see. It depends on how much the audience continues to grow behind the scenes. That's really what it depends on.
Might have $1 billion potential. Like I said, Man of Tomorrow will be bigger than Superman was because of how good Superman is and how well it was received. But now looking at these numbers, I'm starting to wonder if maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe it does have $1 billion potential. Okay. Anyway, Rob, you heard all the numbers. You've seen all the data. What's jumping out to you the most?
Well, there's been a lot, people talk about how not as many people are going to the movies these days. I would say the thing about Superman is
very true.
One of the things that are underestimated is families going to the movies is expensive. Not just the tickets, but refreshments, parking, all of that.
Yep.
Babysitters. I think part of the reason that this had these kinds of numbers is because families were waiting to see this until it came into the home video space, VOD space.
That could be because the numbers are showing that they are seeing it in the home video space.
Watching it on cable. Because if you have a family of 4, 2 kids, you might want to have seen the film, but you couldn't have gotten out to the theater because it's expensive. So you wait. I mean, VOD is expensive too.
Yeah.
But I think these numbers were probably driven
by the way, guys, I like this guy. I never can remember his name because, it's the John Campea show. But I like the way this guy thinks a lot. He's in the business and stuff, so it makes sense. But I like the way he thinks. I like to hear him talk.
2 things. People that really love the movie and want to
and he's got a great voice.
See it again. And also people that didn't get to see it in the theater in the first place. So what this tells me is that this movie is even more valuable than the box office that it achieved at the theatrical level achieved.
Okay.
And that's something, when we all want to look at one number and base this movie, was it this profitable or was it that profitable? These numbers show, you can't discount these numbers in terms of income for a movie. Because they have...
Speaking of profitable, not profitable, if you guys want me to do my own video on the $125 million of profit, let me know. I feel like I kind of may have missed that boat, but if you want me to, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out my store, my Amazon store. You can get all sorts of great Superman stuff. Have your own collection. Helps to support the channel, guys. But if you don't want to do that, just watch the whole video. That helps too.
Ancillary markets. Anybody that realizes, hey, if you grew up in the 80s, the VHS market was huge for movies. This is big money. What does it cost to get this on VOD? $29?
Yeah, $30.
$30.
$25 to rent. I mean, the rental price will go down.
Okay, let's call it 25. Let's get round that off. And how many did
they're only doing that because they're squeezing as much money out of it as they can. Eventually, it will be a $4.99 probably rental, but it'll take a while.
How many 25 times?
Well, the report went on to say they've estimated now after the first 3 days as well. In total, it's probably generated about $40 million in PVOD revenue.
$40 million in 3 days,
which most movies do not make that much.
And until it's available,
is that included in the 125 million, or is that on top of? Answer in the comments because I'm kind of missing stuff here. I'm thinking about other things while they're talking. Is that a 40 million on top of the 125?
Available on that could be. Let's game it out for 2 more weeks. Let's say it exponentially drops, but you could put another $100-200 million in its coffers just with VOD money over the next couple weeks. That is not something that should be taken lightly. And these numbers paint a story that box office numbers alone don't paint. And I would say this has a lot of fans now.
And again, to me, like I've been saying for 2 years, the real test of Superman, the real goal of Superman, the real mission that needs to be accomplished for Superman.
I really want to hear what he's going to say here. As a big Superman guy, I'm like, what is it, man? What's the big deal here?
Is not how much this first movie makes at the box office. Does it succeed on the level that it sets up this brand new cinematic universe for success?
I agree 100%. Have been saying that from the beginning. That's one reason, even though I don't care about directors, I don't even really, I don't like that stuff. A lot of you guys, well, some of you guys, a small portion of you guys have called me a gun guy, a gun bot, a shill, or whatever. And it's like, if you knew me in person, you'd realize I really don't care about directors. I don't care about that stuff at all. What I was saying is what he was saying right there, that it's not about money in the beginning. It's about critical success. That critical success, if you don't know what that means, it means a movie with good reviews, with good ratings. Because even if you didn't make the money you needed to make in that theater, what's going to happen is you made a good movie. And it's a starting, reboot, total beginning movie. So people are going to go back and watch it even though they didn't. Let's think about movies like Batman Begins. I think it made in the 300 millions. Then Dark Knight, what happened? Then Dark Knight Rises, what happened? Okay, we did really good because even though Batman Begins was a good movie, nobody was invested. They'd all come off of the old Batman movies. It was campy, it was whatever. They needed to take their own time to get invested on their own time. That's what's happening with Superman right now. People didn't want to go spend the money and go to the theaters, but if they can have their whole family watch the movie for $25, yeah, okay. You got a family of 4. That's a lot cheaper than going to the theater and getting popcorn and, 4 tickets and all that stuff. So it's very important to realize it's not a gun-goon move to be like, how's this movie going to do reception-wise? Because that really is the test to find out if it's going to set up this whole universe. And if you disagree, put why in the comments. If it's all about the money, put why in the comments. On the first, it's about the money on. It's not about the money on the first one. I'm saying it's about the money in the end, but not on the first one.
And now, I mean, you could tell it did because of the ratings, how much the audience loved it, how much that. But now we're actually seeing numbers to back it up as well. And this could get really big. I mean, if they don't lose their way, if they don't.
I agree. That's what I just said a second ago. If they don't mess it up, they can really make something. I hope Man of Tomorrow, Gunn doesn't do his Gunn thing and forget that he's got a family movie here that he almost kind of screwed up on with too much cussing and different things, that he can continue to get families in the theaters because, yeah, you can get people to babysit kids, go out and see a movie, or you can get all those butts in the seats from the entire family. Having a family of 4 or 5 is not uncommon, but only having 2 of those people to go from the family versus all of them, that's a big deal. So it really is important that he sticks with like a family motive when it comes to Superman so that they can feel. Now, I know y'all are thinking in your heads, Deadpool Wolverine, and that's true. But Deadpool Wolverine had a bunch of Marvel backing. And for some reason, some of you guys don't. It doesn't compute. You got Ryan Reynolds. You got Hugh Jackman. You've got other big name co-stars. You've got Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine in previous movies. You've got Deadpool in previous movies. Some people, some reason, don't understand that build-ups like that are excitement from the world that has been built. Okay, they built a successful world. That's why the movie seats fill up. It's like he's saying with the video on demand, Superman beat Deadpool Wolverine. It beat it. Why? Because people weren't invested yet. They were invested in the characters in Deadpool. Now that they're starting to get to know David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult in these characters' spots, they're going to be more invested when they see them in other movies. That's just how it works. People are the same way with YouTube videos. They see me in one, they get more invested, and they're like, okay, I'll watch another one.
Don't topple the ship.
Well, I mean, I think that following this up with Supergirl, I think that turns out to, in hindsight, looks to be a really great decision, especially if Supergirl turns out to be a great film. And if it indeed portrays what James Gunn said, we're not going to move forward until we have a great script.
Still haven't started.
Well, they move forward. I mean, it's interesting because people are like, well, now they're planning on making, Man of Tomorrow, and where's that script? Well,
he's already been developing it.
He already said he's got it.
Yeah, and he's going to start shooting it.
He's been working on that for a while, guys. I don't think it was rushed. It could have been. But I think he's been working on that since he finished the first script. I think he's been having ideas, writing them down. I mean, it's just the way a creative process works. As a professional sculptor, you're always thinking of after you finish something, your brain doesn't turn off. It just goes to the next one.
when it's right.
And I have a feeling while he was writing this, he was already.
I don't know that guy's name either. He pops up out of nowhere on these videos all the time. Like I forget he's even there.
Developing.
Well, that's what people don't understand. When you read in the trades that stuff's actually happening, it's been happening for 6 months or a year. Yeah. It just takes that long before we find out about it.
Exactly.
You know, so
they think he started writing the day they found out about it.
Yeah.
That's like
no.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's what I'm trying to say. People don't realize that because you heard about it, that's not when the thing came to be. That's not when it was like invented, so to speak. James Gunn has been in Superman mode.
Guys, we want to thank the sponsor.
Sorry. He's been in Superman mode for a long time. Y'all can thank your sponsor. I'm going to skip ahead to when you do not thank your sponsor, which good golly, Miss Molly, that's a lot of sponsor thanking. You know, and we need to just thank my sponsor as well, which is me and my Amazon store. So go and check that out. And don't forget to look at that.
To be right. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, the momentum of Superman just keeps going. Now, being the highest PVOD sales of the year so far, even beating other comic book films like Deadpool and Wolverine, and another billion-dollar film from Warner Brothers, Barbie, and things like that. Anyway, to me, the story is that it's clearly doing what it set out to do, establish a brand new cinematic universe. Maybe to you, it's just the pure number.
If you don't agree, put that you don't, but please, please, please put why you don't agree that Superman is doing what it was supposed to do. Put why you think it's not. I keep seeing people like, movie's garbage. It failed. It's not doing what it's supposed to. That tells me nothing. That just means that you think it failed. With the numbers in front of your face, you think it failed. It's like, that doesn't tell me I need to know. I need to know information.
The biggest of the year. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
That's exactly right. Let me know your thoughts. I can't steal that from John. I won't, John. I won't steal it from you. But just watch one of my videos. You'll notice I don't do it all the time.